Are we using the TV?
No.
Really? Why did that switch?
Because there's no video to watch.
Oh. Has Flint of Ruby not put out things for the Volume 6 soundtrack?
This isn't Volume 6 soundtrack.
Okay.
What are we doing today?
Surprise!
Sirs and madams.
Hello.
Now that we're all on the right page of what today is.
Oh. Get that hair pulled a little too tight there, buddy.
that's I got nothing either. That's just well. I had all the facts. They were just in all the wrong order.
Surprise!
Right.
So we're going to be checking out OK Goodnight's, Casey Lee Williams and her Berkeley guys. It is Berkeley, right? Make sure I'm not losing my mind.
Yes, it is Berkeley.
Yeah, her band. We're going to be checking out the album that they just dropped last night.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's considered an EP, I think, because there's only about 5 or 6 tracks.
Is this their second?
There's 9.
There's 9. Yeah.
9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a full album.
Holy hell. All right, so Spotify lied to me earlier.
Yeah, no, I bought it on iTunes last night, and I was like, whoa, there's a lot on there. But I also was like, I need to not listen to any of these because we're doing this today.
Is this their first major full work release? Or have they put out an album before, or has it just been singles?
It's just 2 singles.
Just 2 singles.
Yeah.
Cheers. Well, congratulations. It's always fun to put out the first full-length album. That's what I'm working on now.
All right.
So yeah, what's the name of the first track? I can't see
Astray.
it. Astray.
Ooh.
Not to be confused with Ashtray. That has an extra letter.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. There's no lie there.
I wasn't going, don't be a menace, but I mean, I am now.
Well, the only reason why I say it that way is because this, the screen is a little on the darker side, I just realized, and I had to double check. When you asked, I had to double look just to make sure I was looking at the right word, because it was kind of dark. So,
I mean, dark mode is doing its work.
I know.
Thanks, Apple.
I mean,
that's right.
I just got that on my phone last night. It's still kind of weird. Okay, so Astray.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. And... Oh, we don't have...
Right, what am I pointing at?
I don't
There's
know.
nothing there.
Point at the TV. There's nothing there.
Ah!
All right, so 1, 2, and 3.
That is a tasty, weird riff.
Yeah, I'm liking the harmony of this so far. This
Super duper chromatic.
it's like an empty haunted house at a carnival.
With a bit of a jazz lounge.
Yeah.
And just for Matthew, it doesn't actually resolve. Okay.
Yeah. That was definitely an intro lead-in track.
Yeah.
A prep
Okay.
track, as it were. Those are fun.
You are correct, sir.
Yes. Now, if it does that fun, seamless transition, that's such a nice touch when you put, an intro track that just seamlessly transitions into, the first real number of whatever's on the album. Tastiness.
Okay.
That's such a nice...
So, when I stopped it, it was already at silence, right?
Yeah.
There was 1 second left.
Right.
When I stopped it.
So it's going to give that transition.
Yeah, so you can go back and listen later just to see if it's the same, what you're expecting, but that should go straight into this.
The next track,
Mm-hmm.
which is called
Think Again.
Okay.
So do you want to, anything else to say about the first one, or do you want to jump straight to the second?
No, I just go. I like
Complex meter, chromaticisms.
Yep.
Mark II on the bingo card.
What was that going on in the background? I kept thinking that was a sustain pedal going, or there was
It's an echo effect. It's a reverb effect. it makes it sound like it's in like a small recital hall instead of a coffee house.
Oh, not even that. There was like some kind of like clicking kind of, but it was on tempo kind of thing that was going on.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Look, I was curious.
Because if you got your dampener and your sustain pedal going back and forth, I mean those are always going to happen in rhythm with what someone's doing. So
like I don't know if that was like some weird like stick click thing, or I was like, well, it is a acoustic piano.
it's called a really sensitive mic.
Yeah, most likely at this point.
It's
All right.
$1,000 mic. That's what that's called.
All right, so
All right, ready?
again.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it
It'd be
does.
seamless, yeah.
It definitely.
Oof. Oh,
Yeah.
The doubling. Synth high doubling the guitar. This is a prog rock album. So proud of you, Casey.
Yeah.
Welcome to the dark side. Of the progressives. I think.
That was good.
Nasty. Dirty.
Like the dome hit cymbal hit was a nice touch on that too.
The constant china, the constant cymbal in the back is
Yeah.
really good. And it's heavy. Like that's a heavy rhythm guitar sound.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bonus.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a prog rock album.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh god. They're doing a real good job of messing up that 4. Because it's all in 4, but it really doesn't sound like it. Her voice is a bit different too. It's different in the mix, and it's a bit huskier,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Ooh.
The bass drum.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, prog drum patterns. Oh, listen to that stick work. Yes. There's that prog bass. That's fucking right. Let's go. Fuck yeah. That's that kind of gnarly bass tone I like in my heavy stuff.
You know, really wet reverb.
Yeah.
Yes.
Synth doubled again. Jeez. Oh.
Yeah. Yes,
Huh?
keyboard. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh,
Of course,
fuck.
the first track they have to do a little like, here's everyone's skill.
Well, I
Enjoy
was
the rest of the
gonna
album.
I wanted more of that.
Yeah, that was so tasty.
It's very clear that like everyone's talented, but like the drummer, the synth, and that bassist really got time to shine in that song a lot. Oh baby, that's Berkeley for you.
Mm-hmm.
Train some damn good musicians. There's a lot of there's no need to find another band to compare them to. They sound amazing. They sound unique. There isn't there is not a band that I listen to that sounds quite like them, which I think is always a nice talent, especially when you can put out a work that truly sounds like your own. So fucking kudos to y'all. It sounds so good. There are some similarities to the band Arch Echo that I hear in these guys' sound, which I think is really cool because Arch Echo is also a band of, I think, Berkeley grads. They're like a tad bit heavier, and I think but like the lineup is pretty much the same, except that they don't use vocals. But I find it super cool that both some of Arch Echo's work and what I've heard so far from Ok Goodnight have a good couple of parallels and just like super tight ensemble, really really fleshed out and like ornamentations and riffs over the typical chords, where the players will just take all the empty space that they could just leave empty and just run, like pick notes, just fill the space with notes. So
it's crazy what bands sound like when they comprised of groups of people who know how to use metronomes and practice efficiently.
Right?
Yeah,
Know what a click track is.
right.
Exactly.
Because I know Sterling and I have had many long talks about projects and things we've been involved with where it's like, that hour and a half rehearsal turned into a 3-hour thing because, no one knew what they were doing when they got there, and they're all learning the part while they're there, or, things like that.
Yeah. So usually, if you ever see me commenting on you guys, comments on YouTube, it's usually because I'm stuck in rehearsal and people are still learning their parts. But
he's using his downtime efficiently.
like, I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to throw that shade and whoever it catches.
Yeah, you see those late night 10 p.m. posts from Sterling, and it's like he's killing time. I like so one of the things I do like though, just as an individual, I don't think so. The bass player is Ron, if I remember right. So, and I was going to bounce this off Sterling, but the tone that he gets, the thing that I like about it is the bass is punchy and it's still low. It doesn't sound like someone took the treble out of it, but it still has the initial attack as on what he's doing, as opposed to it just being like this, warmed, fuzzed over, monotone, wolf tone sound or whatever. So you can actually hear like, if there's 16th notes in a row, digga 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 da, you can actually hear each of those attacks.
Not.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't just morph over into like this kind of muddy thing or whatever.
Even as he was playing, because I heard a lot of times where he went down to that low B, and it's like, oh, it actually sounds like a me. No, you distinctly know, okay, that's a low B.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what I was talking about. It's that tone. It's because it makes the low end so much heavier because you get an attack on that low end. The reason I keep talking about prog, like prog rock and prog metal, is because like bassists in those genres love using those tones, so you can hear the work being done all the way on the lower end, so that it cuts through the bass drum, it cuts through the rhythm guitar,
right,
and it just adds even more of a punch. And
it's funny because like
tasty,
completely almost. Well, I won't say it's not really related, but it's close enough. Like someone else that has that same tone that just was always really punchy, but you could hear all the articulations and stuff like that, was the bassist for Guar.
Yeah.
There was like a series of like 5 albums, because they had the current singer used to be their bassist at one point, but he wasn't always in the band, if I remember right. He had kind of he took a kind of a leave of absence and came back at one point and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, there was like this chunk of like 4 albums or 5 albums in a row where it's you can tell it's a bass. It's super punchy and it's really clear, but you can hear that kind of that twang on the attack, so you know that it's hitting the string, you know, but it's not. But it doesn't sound like fret buzz either,
Right.
You know. So anyway, side note, I've always been a fan of GWAR. Like I listened to them since I was actually in 5th grade. I'm completely normal. So
yeah, that doesn't say anything about who Bruce is as a person.
Nothing weird to see here. I can't wait to see, like, I hope there are comments of people. It's just like, I never heard of this band called GWAR, and then I looked them up, and oh my god. It's like...
What is your problem?
Another comment is that it's very clear, like, almost from the get-go, that every single person in this band is uber talented, background strong, and you don't have to double long solos and sequences and ornamentations. But they do. The guitarist and the synth player
they were having too much fun.
Perfectly in sync, running up and down those scales. And oh my gosh, that's a kind of access that we just love. It's so good. It's so good.
That's the Dream Theater aspect to me is the guitar and synth, like high end double running notes. That to me is a very Dream Theater sort of like
Jordan Rudess.
like sprinkle, like the single sprinkle.
For sure.
Cool.
And just being super tight in general. Again, you have like 6 musicians, and the fact that there is this is homage to the click track and to the metronome.
5 musicians.
5? Oh, okay. Well, it's still.
I mean, just for the record, not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trump you. I'm just saying.
I think I just miscounted.
Yeah. That's how you know it's a good band. It's like there are like 8 of them in there.
Right.
Like, no.
No. Perfect starts, perfect cutoffs. Every single 8th note is like dead on time. The best part is that I bet they could do that live too. That's the scariest part of it all.
Oh.
Is oof.
Okay. Yep. So next tune is Free Fall.
Hey. That sounds like
not gonna do it.
Let's go.
Don't worry about it. Not gonna do it. I'm not that white.
Don't worry about this side.
I'm not that white. I'm not gonna do it.
That white.
I know exactly what you're thinking, which is why.
Exactly. The thing is, like, I'm white, but I'm not. Let's go check out what that noise was. White. Like, I'm not.
Are you though?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I've seen enough horror films. What's that sound over there? I don't know. Let's go this direction. Away from it.
Nah, son. You gotta go see what that is.
You don't.
Make sure you just have a camera with you when you do. That's how it works.
So I can turn around and just like drop the. Never mind.
Live stream that shit.
Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fair. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, that's a nice clean tone.
10-5.
It is.
Oh yes. I always need more prog to fill the void,
And just 5/4.
and just odd time signatures will do that.
Yeah, I
for you.
heard that.
Casey's also got a nice like reverb filter on her voice, so there's a bit of echo. That's really tasty.
I love hearing her sing in her lower end a little bit more. It's really nice.
That high guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, and these drum patterns. These drum patterns are not easy or simple. You have to be so technically perfect to grab these rhythms.
Mm.
Ah, that harmonic though.
Yes, sprinkling of piano in the back.
Oh, yes, thirds. I love it.
And vocal harmonies. You hear that synth in the back? Or a guitar in the back that's running.
Mm-hmm.
That's a synth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Arpeggiated.
So many layers.
Yes,
Yeah.
straight 4 cymbals, yes. Look at Maggie's face. Yes!
What is happening?
I don't know. What in the world is happening?
Fuck! Fuck, it's so good.
It's like it went,
Holy
it went to
shit.
Dave Brubeck for like 2 bars and like, alright, back to metal.
Fuck. Okay, so now this is super Haken-y.
Yeah,
This is super
very
Haken.
much. Yeah, I'm just loving that straight like 2 cymbal on the 5/4.
Oh god, it's so good. Such good use of dynamics. Move it between light and heavy. Oh my god.
Was that an actual fade out? Or
Fuck, that was really
was that an
good.
actual fade out, or did they just slowly get quiet?
That's a fade. One. 6 of one, half
Or
a
did,
dozen
I
of the
thought I
other.
heard the piano kind of slowly hit a last note, I think.
I did.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Because, I mean, I heard that, but it was... I think it was maybe fade out by instrumentation.
Okay. I was like, man, a fade out? That's a bold choice in 2019.
Well, and then along with... So you combine that, well, but when you got people who have taken composition classes and or... You know, like they understand how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's why I was confused. I was like,
as opposed to bands that just riff and turn down the volume.
yeah.
Which I don't mind though. I actually do like just a good old fade out.
I was wondering how long it's going to take you to bring up Haken.
Haken, yeah.
Well, it's super reminiscent.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Haken, yeah, Haken's
like-
that's my favorite band. And they sound, that was so technical. That was so technical. There were so many things you just can't do without using, like, you can't, well, if you're good enough, I guess you can do those rhythms without thinking about it. But, like, me as a musician, like, I couldn't do that willy-nilly. I'd have to be looking at my
that
fingers.
drummer has to have the
whole
most
time.
insane inner metronome in order to just do straight,
Fuck.
like, the straight cymbals where everyone's going in like a 5/8 kind of feel, the whole 5/8
Well, and
5/4 feel.
his stick patterns at the beginning were super complex. He was rolling between like, I don't know, it sounded like 2 toms, a snare, like 4 kinds of cymbals.
The
and,
dome
like,
of a cymbal and also like
everything.
the body of it.
And it was always moving. There was no dead space, and that's.
I wonder how much of that was like ghost notes after the fact. Wow.
I don't think too many. Well, because none of the cymbals had a lot of splash on them, so there wasn't much ring.
Well, I don't mean like necessarily on the cymbals, but like when you're on the snare and you kind of let it bounce a couple extra times while you're on your way to the next thing. Or
Yeah, probably a couple.
Probably
That's-
some.
Man,
Like in that transition right before the next sound would probably be a ghost. A little sort of double tap.
and it's not saying you need to have all the space filled, but
But it was
Like,
tastefully done.
I love listening to music where all the space is filled with like some nice technical stuff that's not overwhelming or super jarring to the ears.
Yes, because there is a limit.
Yeah.
There's definitely
There's
a
that
limit.
kitchen sink thing where you're like,
Once you pass and get to the squiddly and just like, let me play every technique and every note I've ever learned.
everyone's taking a solo at the same time, and you're like,
Don't get me wrong, I love Devin Townsend. But there are some tracks where I'm just like, this gives me anxiety.
Bring it back. Yeah.
Like, there's too many things going on.
My fight or flight is being triggered.
My finely tuned empath side is really having problems right now.
It's funny you
Because
said
I don't
that.
know where to focus.
You're sweating,
And
sitting
what to
still,
do.
and you're like, this.
Which empath, you or the album?
Oddly
'Cause
enough,
Wow, say too
good
easy.
point. Good
Oddly
point.
Way
enough,
too easy.
Oddly enough, that album Empath is not the one I'm speaking of.
Wow.
So just
Man, oh man.
just to
Just rife with irony in this situation. All right.
Truly.
Oh yeah, bass
Oh.
was real crispy in that.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I gotta go.
Crisp to the maximum.
But I gotta go back and listen to it because it kind of sounded like he was doing like a tapping thing in the beginning, just kind of hearing it, but then lots of harmonics going on.
Yeah.
That solo.
Yeah, I
was
heard
so,
those. I was like,
That solo in the beginning was so tasty, and it just rolled all the way down to the bottom of his register. Oh, and that heavy-ass breakdown for no reason was so fucking good. I made a steak face for like 2 minutes straight.
Okay, I was making... Now that you reference that,
Yes.
I'm like, okay, that's the one he's talking about.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
Because out of nowhere, there was the Brubeck breakdown.
that is true.
that was just like,
That was
what the
amazing.
hell?
I was like, you know...
And then they just did it again, but like, all right, back to heavy sound.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
happening?
But they went from this beginning smooth 5/4, then it's just like distortion, rah, and like
Yeah.
all the instruments is like, all right, heavy side now.
yeah, and then take 5 for two bars.
Yeah, and it's just like,
and then
breathe.
back to like,
Fucking
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
My,
I was like,
my
what?
analysis gets less and less coherent the more
the more hype he gets, he's
the
just
more
like,
We'll just use sound effects to describe the next 4 songs. That's fine.
we'll just judge. We'll just put a gradient scale on the screen and just how red Matthew's face gets with excitement. We'll just base it off of his.
Yeah, I've got a visible tell.
Yes, you do.
Just-
You got the nerve to call us
Your
color.
face is about as red as your shorts.
yeah,
right
that
now,
sounds
Matthew.
about right. Oh, Red with Love. It was so good.
Jesus Christ.
So good.
I'm trying to think of like a good one-liner.
A
There's
witty.
like-
I got nothing.
There's like 15 of them. I'm like, I'm failing at articulating any of them because there's like so many to choose from right now.
So much serotonin just happening.
So you're gonna give us facts now?
Right. Give me facts. That was really good.
Damn, that was
That was fucking tasty. This album is going straight in my playlist, like my driving playlist. Immediately, I'm gonna jam out to this stuff.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Right.
More, please.
Okay. So the next one is Meridian.
Ooh.
Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna do an outro track like they did for an intro track, or if they're gonna end it on like a full number.
We'll find out when we get there.
We will.
A little over 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
This one is?
Yeah. right about.
Hot take: if you have a song that's probably like 3 minutes and pushing it, you can do better.
I will have you know
Oh yeah?
Oh, here we go.
that Minor Threat's entire discography is under 30 minutes. Actually,
That's a fair point.
probably
Entire
closer.
discography.
Yes.
Jeez.
Combined in length. Yeah, their stuff is.
There are tunes that last, a minute, 10 seconds.
There are exceptions to the
I think
rule.
there's one that's like 53 seconds.
Nice.
So, but it gets the point across.
Yeah.
So anyway.
If you can understand.
I'm slamming the pop community. No said.
Okay.
I feel attacked.
You shouldn't.
Okay.
As long as you're not writing them.
Right.
Yeah, right?
I mean, hey, 1-5 pays bills. I'm just going to keep saying that.
I mean, you're not going to get an argument from me.
Yeah, right. I can't say crap.
I see. I usually sing bass in the choir. I get a lot of the ones at 5s too, so I get it.
What a sad time to be.
All right, here we
Let's
go.
go.
So Meridian, right?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3.
These clean tones.
Yeah.
Ah,
Just a little bit of chorus on it.
it really makes for a good full listen through of the album because everything starts and ends on this.
Is that keyboard or is that another guitar?
It's probably a synth. It sounds like a synth tone,
Yeah. Okay.
like a harp tone with a bit
Yeah.
of reverb.
Yeah, bass.
Good dissonance.
That was really
Yeah,
nice.
I like that.
We had
Yeah.
the same face. We were just like, oh. Oof.
Yes. The harmonic language is curious.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
Yes, thirds. this the middle track on the album?
No, it's not. This is track 3 of 9.
4. Okay, it's almost the middle.
You're right.
It's called Meridian, so I wasn't sure if it made the middle one or not.
Do we have a tempo change?
Just a halftime feel.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oof. I like that piano layer and that bass layer in the back.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's really nice. He's sliding. That note slid. It's not a touch note, which is fucking awesome. Very 80s. Reminiscent of Daft Punk. It's Daft Punky. There's 3 layers.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the timbre with that other one layer was. It's almost Mbira-esque.
Yeah. With a heartbeat of a drum.
Yeah! Just a straight up breakdown.
All the splash.
With a time change too. Did you hear that? There was a time change.
Just the pianos on like the bottom 2 octaves. Just. Well, fuck. Oh fuck.
Yeah, the time change.
I feel it. I feel it now. Fuck, that's really good.
Yeah, it's hard.
Really good. This is really Haken-y. So this is super.
The piano. Yeah, and you lose you're like, yeah, like, oh.
I can headbang in odd times, but I just need to find out which one it is. Fuck. I found it just in time for it to be done.
He's like, I got it. Oh.
My biggest comment on this song was that it was a really good depiction of just like pedestrian music. For the most part, until this damn breakdown came that just took it all the way home.
Because why not? Matthew looks like he had made a goal.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun. Silence.
Right. That made me so because what I was going for the first half of this song, or like 2/3 of this song, you know, rock tends to be a spectacle when you put a song together. You know, with all the sounds, it's not super. That stuff doesn't fade into the background, not often. But by adding in these layers of like through like tonal nuance, by making these sounds softer, less abrasive, and by adding in sometimes the odd rhythms, it can mimic, some kinds of jazz that can fade to the back of the brain. But there's so much moving in the first part of the song that I use the word pedestrian because it's something you could like walk to or go about doing daily tasks to because it's moving, but none of it sticks forward in the brain, at least for me. So it all could somehow get moved to like soundtrack of our lives type thing, but it's still really clean. It's still really technical and complicated, which I think is a very impressive skill to balance. A lot going on, but none of it pushing through the brain or pushing through your focus. And then the breakdown happens.
Is the whole time I was thinking, oh, okay, I could see this as like an end credits to a movie or something, like characters walking, and then, like you said, breakdown. It's like, oh, never mind.
Right. Or a montage, or just like it fills space beautifully in that, again, background is the word I use in a complimenting way somehow, because I would put that kind of stuff on for like ambiance when I'm trying to get things done. Color, I don't know.
It doesn't require a whole lot of attention from like conscious attention.
Colors the ambiance really nicely, and then the breakdown.
And then you're like, oh, all right, I must focus for a second.
See, the difference though is like that's the kind of stuff I like really live for though. So
yeah,
the breakdown part of the
no. I mean, I like the breakdown. Don't get me wrong, but the previous stuff where it's like stuff that seems background or whatever.
Yeah.
My big thing is like colors and how they fit together, and what timbre is happening when, more so than just outright. Okay, the drums are guitar's playing this fast and the drums are doing this rhythm and whatever. I mean, all those we pay attention to all that stuff too, but the thing that's so much harder is to understand timbre and color enough to put them together to where it sounds good, as opposed to, well, we don't really know how these puzzle pieces fit, so here we go, drums, bass, 4 on the floor, guitar solo, vocal, back to guitar solo, now outro, kind of thing. And so, which is probably why I've been like a Pink Floyd fan for, since conception probably, but because it was the same thing. I mean, they know how to put and stack colors and timbres together to get certain sounds and moods and ideas and concepts, and it can change that sound or that flow or feel, and then you realize it changed later because you're just kind of so engrossed in it, kind of thing.
And you're like, wait, how did we get here?
Yeah.
On another side of the attempt, you could have like 5 musicians all trying to create like clean sounds, a smooth vibe, and like the flow, and try to create this flow. But it could all be super mushy. Like, it could all blend together and create kind of a smooth, quiet mess. Like, that's what happens if you do it wrong. But even down to, like, the drums, every instrumental part is using their soft, like, variations of soft sides of their sound, and I can hear all 5 of them at the same time well. To further elaborate on the point of just, like, blending it all together. And because we can all play quiet and we can all pick our clean channels, and it's very easy for all of that to just wash together and be incoherent. But you could pick out every single part when you heard that,
right?
If you wanted to. So that's the flow, the vibe.
Yeah, good track name. It kind of fit into that whole
completely. Yeah, and as another compliment. Sometimes when instrumentalists, have their track and the vocalist cuts out, the tone of the band changes. And that's not to say that that's bad, but it's worth noting when the sound of a band changes notably when you take the singer out of the equation. That could imply that there's like creative differences.
A disconnect there.
Or a disconnect, or a lot of compromises being made on musical choices to fit everybody into the mix. But this band sounds just as good, just as technical, and just as complicated with or without the vocalist, which is, it plays to synchronicity. It plays to how tight their sound is and how on the same page all the musicians are with their choices. So, unending praise. Yeah.
Okay.
Next track.
Okay.
So next track is Rapture.
Ooh, that's a good name.
Which is the first. That was the first single thing they did.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing they did was Think Again, which we heard. That was the second track on here, but.
I wasn't there for the reaction, so yeah, it was new. This will be new to me as well because I don't think I've heard.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's kind of. It's good to. Even though the three of us have heard it, it's still good to go back because now you're thinking about it
in context.
In context of the rest of the album.
Yeah,
but
I'd like
also
to hear it again.
The second listen with, what do you? Is there anything you spot now that you didn't then, or whatever, and stuff like that too? So,
awesome.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
All right, so 1, 2, 3.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right. I have heard the beginning of this before. It's a tornado.
Yep. Dun, 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 dun.
Just imagine the humans flying up to meet our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right?
Right before you. Not to color the song, but oof. Fuck.
Got him.
Now it's a power metal song.
Yeah.
As symphonic metal, we've got the synth backing up the... Now it's Unleash the Archers. Well, partially. We don't have Britney's tones.
Well, no, but it's just like power metal to me is still faster, less complex.
Agreed.
So,
not quite.
yeah.
This is more like a J-rock song. This sounds very Japanese. Well, inspired. Japanese inspired.
Yeah. I used to be an anime intro. Parts of it almost could be. And then you go back to this.
I've heard that guitar riff before in like 3 J-rock songs, which is fine. Bam, bam.
Look at it.
Oh, that's so nice. Those vocal harmonies are so good. Splash, splash, splish, splash. See, now this whole genre departure makes more sense.
Yeah, the first time I was very confused.
Well, now, yeah, we have more time to know that they have a lot of good classical piano work. Or, yeah. The jazz is
yeah,
more
the
well
RWBY comments
cemented
make more
into the
sense
album.
now. Chromatic, but added.
Jazz, you like jazz? Do I hear some Swisher sticks in the back? That's not what they're called. Brush pads? I don't know what they're called. One, two, three, triple, triple.
There it is.
Da-da.
So is this in like 12? What do you think this is in? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 4, 12, what do you think? Right, yeah, so it's complex.
Yeah. Definitely complex later.
Now it's in 4.
Well, the triplet filled in 4 is now the straight eighth notes.
Yeah.
Nice metric modulation.
Right. We love a synth solo. That's an odd transition to me.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice.
Really?
It goes anthemic in those choruses.
It does, but they don't start on the 1 or the... They don't start on the 1.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit... subverted.
God damn it.
It's just easy.
That was the silent version of the answer's not over here.
Yeah.
I'm not stealing your thunder on this.
Oh, thanks. How kind.
Leave this to Imagine Dragons.
But yeah, going from like crazy bridges that are filled with 7th chords to choruses that are filled with 7th chords, but not starting on the 1 is a great, just a great way to spice it up. And I think it got anthemic, but it doesn't fall into the formula of like the stale anthemic.
Yeah, no, it's just the chorus that feels anthemic.
Yes, everything else is
Yeah.
heavy or it's quick. And again, they moved from like the slow jazz contemporary section to like it was the tempo shift that threw me, that I didn't see coming at all, because it goes from, I feel like, kind of a rapidly moving triplet pattern to just like a solid 4 on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Are you talking about at the end of the...
Where she goes
piano
back
or...
into the chorus, yeah.
Okay.
Because Casey's re-entrance changes the time a lot.
You know, one thing that I could totally see a lot of people... Because my first instinct would maybe say the same thing, is that we've heard so much of her in the other, like in the RWBY soundtracks, and of course I think there was Red vs. Blue stuff, and what other things that she's done or been part of, right? Where it'd be very easy to say, yeah, but you know, she could totally do this, and you know, and I know because you know what she's capable of.
Yeah,
like she could totally do that, and that would be really cool if they added like that sound in here or whatever. Mm-hmm. But those are not her creations, along with the rest of the instrumentalists in this band. You know,
and it wouldn't always fit either.
Well, yeah. But I could totally see where, you know, people get so used to, like when Jeff writes stuff, you know, especially currently, they get so used to like hearing like how many harmonies are going on and stuff like that. It's like that's all well and good, and it sounds good, but that's his
thing.
Yeah, that's
his
what
style.
He wants to do, and that's what he thinks will better serve the project, whatever it is he's working on. Right? And so I could totally see where some people would probably wish that she would do XYZ thing, or wish that, you know, they would add this as a group that of some of the other things or whatever. Right. And it's like, but don't, because you don't get to hear this side of her voice in the project nearly as much, because there's only been 3 or 4 times where you got to hear her like lower to mid, or lower mid to low kind of like range or whatever. And you wouldn't think it until now, but it's like, because a couple of tracks ago, when she sings down there and she sings like super smooth while she's doing it, it's that kind of that very Sade, you know, kind of like, it's like, that's like real, that's butter. Like that is
I like it a lot.
And so
I don't know if it's like just timing of her natural vocal growth and when this album came out, but like a lot of her color, a lot of the timbre choices she's using for her vocals too are just different. It's less strident, it's less pointed. Like when you listen to her sing, her voice does not cut through the texture as much as it does in RWBY material.
Which may be a timbre decision.
It's either a decision or growth. Like, okay. But and growth implies that she wasn't good enough to do it before, which I don't think is the case at all. I'm leaning more towards like just decision and how it fits in with the texture, because a lot of Jeff's writing is all pointed. Like his guitar tones are sharp, his drum patterns are more often than not
the angry tenor.
Jeff's voice is pointed.
Yeah.
The drum, like it. She's doing a really, really good job of matching the texture, and I'm curious to dive into the brains of Ok Goodnight and see like what's the compositional preference, like what's the order of how things are made. Does somebody come up with a riff and then people expound on it? Does a band member or a couple band members write the whole thing and then morph it? Like that's always the fun part.
Or do they sit in a room together and they're like, right, we're gonna do this song together. Go like.
And there's like tons of ways you can write a song.
Oh yeah.
Just with one person, much less an entire group of people. So I'm not suggesting there's only like 5 ways to write a song. I feel like every band who's worth their salt has a slightly different way of taking on a creation. So that's always fun to think about. Is like, where does the idea start? How does it get
how
from
do you get to the end?
Yeah, how do you get from point A to the finish? So.
All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Oops. The other thing I was going to say about Rapture specific, Meridian is the track that comes before Rapture, right? So the fact that we went from something quiet to just a big old kick down the door, good on them for that tonal shift. Now we're back to
the fairy fountain in Zelda.
Detroit Become Human. Sounds like Cars soundtrack to me.
I like it.
Reminds me of Cars soundtrack.
I like the strings.
I love that muted synth tone.
That's swell.
Yeah, it was really nice.
What's interesting too is occasionally some of the chordal movement, some of the tones sound a bit like Jeff's.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Nothing.
Bruh.
What? No, wait. Really? Is that the track?
That's good. Some of these decisions
Christ.
sounds a little bit like Jeff, but not really like Jeff. Like some of it reminds me of like Blake, and then it's just gone. Like it just like the motif sticks around for a second and disappears. So, not always, but just every now and again, I'm just like, that sounds like it'd be in RWBY. Oh, nope, something different.
That was a nice
palate cleanser.
Yeah, in the middle of that album.
Tasty.
Nice, good ginger before the next roll.
So what's next?
Yeah, what is that gonna go into?
What do we need to be cleansed of to handle what's coming next?
Wait.
Right.
All right, we're good.
Well, the thing I like so far that they've done, like in context, is they've been real, and it's not necessarily like, okay, so here's a palate cleanser because we're going to get busy now, and
fair,
yeah,
but it's because it's not so much of like here's a break.
No,
it's been a very like good transition.
Yeah,
from here and down and back up.
The story hasn't stopped being told.
Well, it's just how many bands are out there. I mean, prog metal's really bad about this.
Yeah.
But where it's just constantly going.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like, look,
I
admire the fact that you can play in 9/8 and 5/8 and 4/4 all in the same tune and make it work, and that's great.
But
at the same time, can you do anything else?
Yeah. And we didn't mean palate cleanser like in a bad way.
No.
This was a nice like transition.
No, but I mean but that's just it. It's like this reminds me. I mean, to go back from a point before, this reminds me a lot of kind of how Pink Floyd would have their stuff planned out. Now, some things they did because that was, it's a 45-minute tune that ends up being a whole album, basically, as opposed to. But there was other times when they would shift between things really well, and it wasn't so much of. It was just like it's just time to do this now, as opposed to okay, we've been really busy, so let's give them a break. We need to put a break in the album somewhere. Might as well be here. It's not that mentality.
Yeah.
This is just where we're progressing to because this is where this fits with the way we want, and then they might not wind up the rest of the album. This might be a 3-track wind down for all I know, but that's still acceptable because it's like you're the composer. You tell me what you want.
Well, like that track.
I'm just here for the ride.
That track feels like it could almost seamlessly be born out of the end of the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just go directly into that and sort of into the next tune.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of these that are like it. Sometimes you'll have 4 seconds of silence or 3 seconds of silence at the end. Whether that's a decision because it's supposed to be broken from the next, or there's supposed to be silence instead of a straight in. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for them to answer,
Yeah,
not me. But
I liked it a lot.
But there's a lot of tunes also where the second it says, you have your last second, it's still, whatever is still happening. Now, I stop it because I don't want it to go into the next thing immediately while we're trying to do this. But there's several of them where it's all the way to the very last second, and then it's an immediate start in the next tune. So those are a little bit more obvious.
Which is what I have a feeling this one probably did. It probably.
Which means listening to this album all the way through is going to be a great adventure.
Oh yeah,
because it all flows
nonstop. Without the breakup.
The flow.
If you guys didn't have so much to say, then we would just do it. But I know you guys have like lots of stuff you want to like.
They'll just listen. They'll just watch us listen to the full album without saying anything.
Well, I mean, it's just like you can't unless you have.
It's a bit counter to what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you have like 8 pages of like legal pad notes that you wrote down, and they're like, all right, so back to track.
Back to the first song.
Like,
you don't want to do that.
44th second.
That's not a proper reaction.
All right, so this one's called Height Shift.
Height shift.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you use that in like normal English? Okay.
Well, they're English words.
I've gathered.
And if there's a shift in height, there's a definite height shift between Sterling
Cusco's
and Goose.
poison. The poison for Cusco.
All right, here we go. 1,
Cusco's poison.
2,
Thank you.
3.
Yep. Speaking of Pink Floyd. Ooh.
Very nice little run there.
Mario. When's the other shoe gonna drop? No, it's clean. Oh my Jesus. Alright, drummer.
I really hate comparing bands to other things. Like,
You hate comparing things to other things?
I hate saying, oh man, they really sound like so-and-so.
Exactly.
That
Yeah, I know.
it
It
really
takes away from them.
Yeah.
But
However, I will. But I won't say in a comparative thing. But you can tell
Influences.
who might be not individual instruments, but who in the band. Like you could say, there's a couple people in here who are fans of.
Yeah.
Because you feel that coming through. So like
Someone's a fan of Incubus to me.
this. Well, yeah, I'd even go further back than that too. Like this has, especially at the beginning of it. Someone likes Pat Metheny.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's several tunes in here so far where I've thought someone's a fan of Rush.
Oh, very much so.
In there. Which, I mean, if you're going to be fans of somebody,
right.
Yeah.
there's like greats to be fans of. So you can see where some of these ideas and...
Well, so I don't like picking like a band or just a couple bands to talk about when talking about another band, because again, it takes the limelight away from their sound, which is what I said first. But I do love finding as many different bands that sound like something I'm listening to, because if I can pick like 15 bands that there's influences from, that's just more of a compliment, I feel like, on the musicians at hand. Like
Motley Crue out of nowhere. Nope, not even.
so now I'd say like someone's a fan of Intervals, the band, the Canadian prog band.
I knew it was coming.
You can just feel it.
I hope this other shoe drops.
I hope it goes in a different direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Subvert it.
Like, I don't want it to go back to dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take that half tempo breakdown right about now.
No, I'm with Bruce. I want something different.
Fair. Good job, pianist, by the way. He's killing it right now on the jazz solo. If he's playing both of those piano parts, he's doing a real good job too, with the nice chordal versus solo movement. Ugh.
Yeah.
Nasty.
It's like the good kind of dirty sound on that one, though. Like, I liked it.
Oh.
There's the other.
It's like if Sonic went and got a
Get out of my head!
I was in every over him. It's like, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, it's like if Sonic went and got a college degree.
And Sonic went to Berkeley.
What is that real warpy guitar tone that sounds like it's like just full of echo? I don't know. I love it.
There's a record scratch.
Mm-hmm. I hear it. I like it.
Or pop
Yeah.
effect.
I mean, you gotta have those lo-fi beats to chill and study to. Lo-fi hip-hop beats to chill and there it is.
With the pedal down.
Is that the end of the track?
Bruce?
Interesting. Wow. Okay. The synths are getting a lot of time on this album, which is, I like that so many of these songs have, like, time for an unencumbered piano, time for, like, a synth solo.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because, I mean, one, because I play the instrument and I'm hella biased, and two, I feel like that instrument's interesting because, like, I was going to say like the bass, but the synth falls into more of the category where it could be rhythm and it could be solo, and it draws the middle line.
Mm-hmm.
People are finally learning that bass can be a solo instrument just as much as a rhythm instrument.
Yeah.
And those are the people who know better.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, the world still has to catch up on the fact of like giving the bass as much time to itself, I think, on solos or on riffs, as much as being a backup.
I was gonna say, hell, there's still people like, you play a 5-string? I didn't know that was a thing. Like,
Right, you're just like, buddy.
But I was gonna say, I was gonna be disappointed because I know bass and guitar were doing a counter melody thing. It's like, if bass doesn't get us just a or whatever the line was, like I was gonna be
Upset?
Yeah.
but they did it. So.
They got that
Not once,
tag.
but twice.
2 times.
A lady.
But that's the thing, is I would have been happy if they
I've never seen a hand-delivered reference so easily taken in the wrong direction.
You're welcome.
What just happened?
You
I
just looked like
subverted
visibly
the joke.
distressed. You were just like, wait, it went... Watching it go out the door. No, but what I was saying is you could have had that bass tag 4 more times and then switch it up a little bit, and I would have been just as happy. So I'm happy to see that the piano is getting like a lot of solo time as much as it is getting rhythm section time.
This album,
as a pianist,
has more just instrumental tracks than I thought we were gonna have, which is
nice.
Yeah,
probably nice on Casey too. Like, don't get me wrong, but imagine trying to sing an entire RWBY album start to finish live or in one setting. That's a lot of singing.
Mm-hmm.
That is taxing. I'm pretty sure for anybody, much less age, if like I were to try to sing all of Casey's lines in one, or just any of an album of Jeff's music, that would be exhausting. But this blends nicely with everybody getting a lot of time, but without feeling over encumbered.
Right.
That's just good.
What's the next track?
Day and Night.
And is this which number is this?
It's next to last.
Next to last, all right.
We had Scorched Moon had a Day and Night song, and then we closed it off because of our bassist left. That's neither here nor there.
So there was an eclipse?
Right.
Let's just go on. Whatever.
I'm trying to reach for. And I was like,
I didn't find anything.
Are you smelling burnt toast?
I was the other night again. I had to remember. Oh wait, no, Matthew's home. That's right. I'm not having a stroke.
That was good. Good comeback. You okay?
I'm just upset at myself for that really shitty joke.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I said it, I was like,
You sit there and think of
my
what you did.
my arms aren't even long enough to bring that one back. I was like, nope, it's gone.
That was not my finest moment.
I would say go to your room, but you'd have to cross in front of the camera to get there.
Oops, I tripped over the mic.
Zing.
All right, no one can hear me.
So, Day and Night. 1, 2, 3.
This album is a lot quieter than I expected it to be, which is fine. I like it.
Yeah, these harmonic shifts are.
It's good. It's really good. Nice echo sounds.
Oh,
That's
God.
very Dream Theater.
There we go.
But now between us, we've said like 17 bands. Oh, that's good.
Mm.
So the song's got a tempo to it that you want it to crescendo. You want
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just holding it steady.
But they're holding it back, yeah. So it's very roller coastery, where it's just like
your white luck language, you're going nowhere.
right. And if we get blue balls the whole song, hey. That especially, because I'm just like...
I keep wanting this to go into mixed meter.
I'm okay with it. It's a groovy 4, so...
Yeah. I keep feeling it in like a 7/4 instead.
7 would be nice, yeah. Yeah.
There it is.
There's only 5 band members? You sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a rhythm guitar and a guitar solo.
That doesn't mean they can't overlay.
Oh, well, how do you do that live? Oh, I guess you'd have backing tracks. This line creep gives me anxiety because I just want it to get big and it doesn't.
Yeah. Those are blue balls you were talking about.
Where's my payoff? That's such a good sequence.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a good landing chord. Especially for that bass too, just that low D, it's just ooh. Nice. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll take technical over
Drift
heavy.
off into the moonlight.
That's like heavy shit. That was really good. That was a different kind of piece. That it created tension, and it never gave you a full release. Giggity. But I think that added to the music. I think always having, you know, some of the hairs on the back of your neck raised, gave it. I don't know. Gave it a little punch. Made me focus in more on the music, which in turn really lended itself to the technical things they did with the drums, with that groovy riff. The bass movement itself was quite complex. I really like that. Still a bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but shout out for using a 6-string. That's kind of what it sounded like he was using, but.
What gave it away?
I have no way to tell.
What gave it away?
So.
Arpeggiations? What?
Yeah, during that part.
I thought it was okay.
It sounded like, just because of the timbre that the higher notes that he was doing, it just sounded like it was on a high C string instead of just being up on the neck. But
okay, it's cool that you know that. I couldn't tell that to save my life.
Well,
and drummer going to work.
Drummer was moving. Also, Casey used this song and used a lot of her upper range in this song, but kept it quiet. So which this whole piece was quiet. But it made it kind of haunting, kind of eerie, how she would float or mix her voice into the upper notes of her register and just let them fade away.
Maybe that's the night of the day and night.
Right. It if we want to look for right. It's like the gayest thing I've ever heard you say.
Well, I mean, just like it's the title.
Yeah,
It's fluctuating between two main things. I was just throwing that out there.
Yes, that is a possibility.
You know, yeah, I passed music appreciation class. I know how this works.
It's a grade 2 words to have next
So
to
did
each other. Basic thematic guesses.
Jesus Christ.
Anywho.
All right, last tune is Sanctuary.
Don't. I thought Matthew was gonna.
What? Oh, Sanctuary! Alright, I'm done.
Am I missing?
Hunchback.
Hunchback is his favorite.
He went Hunchback. I went Kingdom Hearts.
And I was.
And if Jason was here, he would go Borderlands. So you know.
You did real reference, and I was just like, that's my cue.
It's like you already ruined it. Now he'll interject.
Take it all the way home.
Yeah.
Why we can't have nice things.
It's because you touch yourself at night. Yeah, shout out to older jokes.
Both of the things are right.
Damn it.
Haha, you're out of coffee.
Damn. Good thing it's the last track. Let's go.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I want some heavy stuff. This is nothing against them, but it's just like, where's my heavy prog? I was promised heavy prog, even though I wasn't at all. I can do this. Goose could probably do this too. I'm sorry.
Oh, you bitch.
Maybe even Bruce could get on this one.
But you can do it with touch and tone. No.
Right? Oh, those strings are nice. Tremolo, isn't it? Isn't that what it's called?
It is what it's called. Good for you, Matthew.
He was paying attention.
And my strings appreciation.
Meanwhile, Sterling's just like.
Woosa.
We laugh, but this song is beautiful.
Yeah. Ooh.
Now it's Jacob Collier. Are they really gonna? Okay. I was like, were they about to go heavy on this? Do you get those dissonant strings?
I hear it.
What key is this?
B minor.
Is it B minor?
Bassoon. Bass clarinet.
Bass clarinet.
Yeah.
Bass clarinet.
I wonder, I hope these are live musicians they just picked from Berkeley to play these parts and not
Probably.
sound patches.
No, based on that sound, that's a live part. That's a live
It sounds
person.
really good, I was gonna say.
What is that?
It's dissonant. That's why it's weird. That's why I feel like it's gonna get heavier. The shoe's gonna drop.
No, that's the end of the album.
Okay.
Wow.
I was waiting for the last second because I was like, I can see it counting down. I'm like, I'm going to give him some more hope. Hold on.
You cruel.
Don't do that to me. Don't give me hope.
See, what key did you say it was?
B minor.
So-
Well, B minor and D major. They were switching between
Right.
Yeah.
the natural minor and major of it.
See, that's the kind of soundscape stuff that I was kind of referring to earlier.
Soundscape.
Like,
That's
Yeah.
that's a good word.
Yeah.
Because it
atmospheric in a way.
To me, I don't want to say it. It sounds nothing like it, but it's the same feel as like John Murphy's Adagio in D minor. That they used it for a particular movie. I can't remember the name of it. It was a bunch of scientists that like basically went too close to the sun or were supposed to study the sun, and it ends up being kind of a heartfelt disaster kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha.
But they've also used that same track for several other trailers when they haven't written the music yet for XYZ movie.
So they just filler music.
So several have used his Adagio in D minor as well. And so this kind of gave me those same reminiscent, like it keeps wanting to
Sunshine?
go. Yeah.
Cool.
Where it keeps wanting to go. It doesn't resolve. It doesn't necessarily stop. It just kind of keeps fluctuating around and whatever. So it has that same kind of feel of like, if this doesn't stop and becomes a permanent soundtrack to like everything going on around me, then that's okay. You know, it's like I could live with that. But
you as a listener become synchronized to.
Well, yeah. I mean, I really like the soundscape idea as opposed to, oh, this is the last track or this is an outro. It's like, no, this is just going to be its own thing. It just happens to be the last thing to kind of wind everybody down. Yeah, but
I wonder if you looped the album, if the last track would loop back into the first song. Because the first song is a quiet intro. What if? That y'all can experiment with that on your free time.
Well, the album's called Limbo.
Right.
So
if that's, I mean, I love good wordplay like that. Like when you start putting the non or the implicative story with the musical story. If that's something you try to mesh together, not saying you have
it's
to.
like the album kind of fades in and fades back out into limbo.
Exactly. And if you loop the album, it is a self-continuing piece of music.
Putting you thus in
limbo. That would be really cool. I'll report back like a YouTube comment 5 videos later on whether or not that's a thing.
Oh yeah, by the way,
guys, I got it.
I found it. The first pin comment is just me, just like it works. It works. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to loop the whole album. You can just
yes,
just the two.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there we go.
Oh, look at that. Right.
Go to Spotify.
Yeah,
make
it's
a playlist
not
of
some
just those two.
Herculean feat.
Yeah.
No, keep going through. Get them the views. It's fine.
As they deserve.
Yeah.
What a beautiful album.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Very glad.
This is their first album.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a way to start.
Oof.
That's going to be hard to beat. And I mean that as a compliment because they started so strong.
They set the bar really high.
Really
with the first
damn
album.
high.
So the thing I find funny is like genre-wise, if you search it, it comes up under metal.
It's not.
Well, but that's the thing is like I wouldn't necessarily call. Being that there's only one
There's like
qualifier.
Yeah.
You know, being like you don't go into iTunes and then search. Oh well, I want power metal or prog metal or doom metal or it's just metal.
It's
Yeah.
all metal.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So
It's _metal, so it's whatever the.
But I would say that a third of this album easily is not
No.
metal. More that how people would like say it. But I also can't think of where the fuck else I would put it.
I do. So there's a cheat code for that because the overlaying genre of fusion exists. And people don't use that and that moniker enough.
That's because it kind of
has a negative context.
Well, no. It kind of got applied to jazz fusion more than anything else.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this album is hella jazzy. It counts. What do you mean? Well,
There's like 2 or 3.
I'm talking about.
there's not. There's a lot more than 2 or 3.
I'm talking about fusion in the sense of like, oh, have you heard the Yellow Jackets or the Rippingtons?
Right.
Or,
Oh, yeah.
Like that fusion idea is where because I would put trying to think of someone off the top of my head like Fishbone.
Yeah.
I'd put them in fusion.
Put Cassiopeia in fusion.
Technically.
Yeah, technically.
But at the same time, it's like that's not what I think of when I think of fusion. Yes, it is fusion.
All right.
By
fair.
definition, but it's not what I would think of as it. So
I
that's
genre.
what
Fair.
They've got their.
I don't know. Because I think this does fit what I think of fusion because it's a bit of
retrograde infusion.
Well, it's a bit of indie, it's a bit of jazz, and it's a bit of rock. What I was going to say is that I think the drums and synths are primarily jazz, almost through all of these tracks. Like, predominantly. The patterns that the drums use and the chordal and the movement choices of the piano are, if you had to pick
they're
one...
very Snarky Puppy-esque.
Yes, which is new jazz, which is like the new wave of what...
In you.
Right.
New jazz.
But it's this new...
With the line over the U. New.
And you.
Hey, Matthew, got it.
No, I know. I got the joke a long time ago.
The fluorescent bulb was just kind of flickering.
And I didn't like it.
There you go.
He was trying to forget the joke as soon as he heard it because it was so bad.
But no, it follows this... Yeah, I would use the word fusion again because a lot of like Jacob Collier, Snarky Puppy, Dirty Loops are just taking jazz and really just like smashing it together with a lot of other genres. And so that's why I think this, I wouldn't call it new fusion, that sounds stupid. But I
music genre names usually do.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's why I'd feel comfortable calling it fusion because just of how much jazz there is in the album.
Now, initially, I would agree with that. So, being that there's one album out.
Yeah.
But there's certain groups that
kind of change album to album.
No, this is only one album, and 3 albums from now or 4 albums from now, you might be able to like better define it. But there's certain groups like, well, I would almost throw Snarky Puppy in there, but also even they just pull from a lot.
Yeah.
I would almost throw Jeff in there, but in like Pink Floyd as a given, where they are their own genre at some point.
That is true.
Like
that's what I was
Devin
thinking
Townsend
earlier.
is his own genre. At
He
this
most
point.
certainly is.
There's no like.
God bless him.
He listens to a lot and he pulls from a lot, but he's taken things A, B, C, and D and turned it into
his own thing.
Yeah, and turned it into X, Y, Z. So it's its own thing.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier they've created their own genre with this album,
which is a beautiful compliment to say that on their first album, the overall sound of their creation is just new, and it's something that we haven't really heard tons of before.
I'm sure someone will comment.
That's the first thing I heard. Is just like the comments are gonna be like, well, actually, if you've listened to, I'm just like, that's not.
If you have 100 people that are listening to, each of them are listening to 20 different things.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's like you get
different opinions.
Someone else out there might be like, there is actually a thing that sounds kind of similar to this. Okay, cool. Well, let me know what it is because I want to hear more of this anyway.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, what was it? Elividi, that whole sound, but Call of the Mountains and the folk metal kind of idea.
Yes.
There's other things that would be considered folk metal, but that don't sound quite like that. But I want to find specifically that. Someone could say that.
Elividi has their own weird kind of niche inside.
Yeah. So this would be the same thing. It's like, I like this, and it seems unique enough to be its own thing. However, if something else is close to it that's out there around,
I'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean, for all I know, there's someone in Amsterdam that's like put together something similar.
You're right.
Okay, cool.
No idea.
There's always somebody who's thought something similar to you in the world of music. I think.
Or something close to it.
Or something close to it. And also calling it like lo-fi progressive jazz metal is exhausting.
Oh my god.
Exhausting.
I don't remember the exact thing that this person said, but I remember seeing on a bulletin board like music comment of like, hey, I've figured out a new scale. And someone's like, cool, what is it? Because, I have a list of scales that's...
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, of like...
It's like 40 long or something like that. It's nuts.
It's wild.
And that doesn't even include the majors and minors and stuff. It's all the others that are non-Western and stuff like that.
It's like not the modes that we're used to.
And this person said, it's... And they described the scale. They said if you take the such and such scale, but you raise these two, so it'd be like the such and such, sharp 5, such and such scale, right? Then, it's a new scale, and you start thinking about dissecting what they just said. They just described a major scale, but since they're basing it off something else first, they don't realize that that's what they've just done, is just made a major scale. Oh, it's like it's like an A minor scale with a sharp 3rd and a sharp 7, and it's like,
yep. So
you just described a major scale. It's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but
sorry to burst your bubble,
but the thing you've described has been around quite a long time, or whatever the description was like.
Yeah, whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember you showed that to me. We were like, no.
Yeah, because it's like, is this what I'm thinking it is?
Yeah.
Like, this can't be right. Like,
Not that
I must
simple.
be missing something.
Yeah,
for
you
this
sent it to me, and I wrote it out, and I went, nope, you're. This is literally just a natural minor scale, or whatever it was. Yeah, that's what I did. Is I literally wrote. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a major scale.
Sorry, buddy. Good try. Come again next time.
E for effort.
I hope that person wasn't a teacher at said music place, but
At Berkeley? Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be real funny.
I mean, I was gonna say.
God, I hope not.
But
I think the one comment that I saw to that was, you should go show that to your theory teacher.
See
something
what
like
he or she
yeah,
thinks of
Yeah. It's like, yep, you should, and film it.
it.
I hope
Show
that
us
teacher
what
gave them a
happens.
Gibbs slap on the back of the head. A Proby slap. I really hope so.
Well, bringing it back, excellent first album.
Oh my God, yes.
There's so many different things to enjoy, to dissect. I know I've talked about how, like in some of Jeff's compositions, on a first listen through, sometimes a song could appear crowded. But normally, when you listen through it a couple of times, it smooths itself out. None of this felt crowded, even from the first get-go.
Gecko?
And right. And there were
Saving
so...
15 minutes or more.
You guys are assholes.
And there were
Nationwide is on
Shut
your
the fuck up.
But you're my kind
On
of
Sterling on
assholes.
3. 1, 2.
Please continue so we can finish this.
There were so many layers in this album. So much of the time, every instrument was just going in their own direction, and it was cohesive. And I don't know if I could follow every part, but I knew that literally the next time I listened to it, I could immediately pick out every single part and dive down that own little rabbit hole. It's like, all right, this time I'm going to listen to just the synths, or just the drum patterns, or just how the bass is interacting with the guitar, how the guitar is interacting with the voice.
Yeah.
It's all so clearly communicated through each of their instruments that it promotes multiple listen-throughs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already super cohesive from the first listen through. I have so many good things to say about this just from the initial listen through. And so, good damn job.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful... Thank you for this wonderful contribution to music, because, man, I'm going to be listening to it for a while. Ah, so good. And I'm out. Next.
Tag, you're it.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salud. I mean, I was giving my praise to the bass, so I mean, you did it with vocal, piano.
The harmonies and all the stuff was
Oof.
just so good.
Yeah, shout out to whoever the dude is doing the backing vocals. You were certainly not forgotten. I hear every note you're singing, and it's tasty. It's so good. I should have given a shout out much earlier in the album, because whoever's running those backup vocals are fantastic.
Cool.
That's all for this one.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, because we got some other listen throughs coming up. Coming up. Blah, 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 blah. Remix, drop the bass.
Yeah. Jeff actually sent a message to Sterling and I watch one of the Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jeff sent a message on
really?
Facebook making a request that we do one later, so that one will... We haven't done it yet as of now, but that'll come up soon too.
In the works.
Yeah.
In the pipeline, if you will.
So, which is funny, because I'm like, are you sure you trust our dumbasses with this? It's like, okay, we'll do it.
We'll do
Okay, yeah, sure.
Whatever you say, Jeff.
So, all right. Well, I guess we'll just see everyone next time.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, Mary.
I mean, I've got the biggest tits out of all of us, so I figured.
Fuck. All right.
I'm leaving that in.
Yeah, I hope so.